We had a tradition of music. We had traditions of storytelling through music. We shared these stories with the people of Senegal and Ghana, and this is what became the blues, traveling up and down these swamps. This is why the blues is associated with swamps.
Right.
Because this is
That's right.
this became the joining of three different storytelling traditions, three different musical storytelling traditions. The emulation of nature, palatables as they call it, because there were many different languages up and down. The swamp dwellers, by the way, this is one of the stories that they don't want to tell. They want to keep us separated as different tribal groups and as different people. The swamps are how we created the composite. We can simply say Black Indian. Black Indian because of that mix. But we're the composite people of the swamps. Those of us who trace our roots at least 3 generations back in this swamp are part of that lifeline. In understanding that, now that we reside at this end of the swamp, what we have to understand is that thousands of bodies were interned in the late 1600s. Mass graves within a 10-block radius of where we're standing right now. One of the groups, there was a mercenary group. You can find bits and pieces of information of them if you Google. There was a mercenary order called the Trinitarians. The Trinitarians were the ones that the English hired to carry out their dirty work. Dig that. The English needed someone else to carry out their dirty work. The Trinitarians were actually a mercenary Catholic order. They carried out ritualistic killings. And the ritualistic killings are the results from these ritualistic killings are here in Grove Hall. They're up and down Blue Hill Avenue, up into the Blue Hills because it's part of the desecration, which was part of the blood right. These bodies were never properly honored. And not only were they not properly honored, but years later when they started building buildings, they started building the mass buildings and the road buildings in this area. When they came upon bones, they just threw them to the side and threw them to the rubble. So these bodies were desecrated twice. How we know this to be true, it wasn't until the 1980s that this became illegal, that you had to have an archaeologist present. And we're happy to see that tradition carried on by people such as Melvin Coombs, who's one of those people who goes on to sites when they begin to see the beginnings of evidence. It's now not even just a matter of you find a bone, you find the beginning of evidence. These are the people that they call in, and these are the people that make sure that everything is handled in the proper way. When we don't handle the dead in a proper way, we get messages. The messages that we've received have been coming to us, as far as I know, for decades. This has always been a place of violence and bloodshed. And the message is because of the bloodshed and violence that took place here that was never acknowledged. And the people who were the victims, I'm talking men, women, and children. This was not just a matter of, they love to have this image of warriors going to war. No, this wasn't the case. They came to camps with the women and children. They didn't even go after the warriors while the warriors were out trying to protect. They were in the camps. So these are thousands of women and children who were interned in these grounds. Not just the men. We have to honor all of these spirits. So our first step, not by any means a culminating, but our first step begins with sage. Now the burning of sage is a practice, or the burning of incense, similar practice. It's the cleansing of the atmosphere. It's the cleansing of the air. It's bringing about new air. It's part of the nature. It's part of the nature of sage, part of the nature of cedar, part of the nature of white pine. Where you find these plants and trees growing, that's going to be some of the cleanest air you can possibly come in contact with. It's not by accident that when they build major highways, they plant cedar and pine trees next to them because they can clean carbon monoxide. So therefore, burning these plants, we're changing out the air, we're stimulating the air, and especially around this time of year where the air becomes very cold and very still. This is particularly the time, this is the time when we all get colds and flus and so forth. A lot of this is because the air is sitting still. The burning of sage, the burning of cedar, the burning of sweetgrass actually helps circulate the air. It helps that natural process. So there's actually a scientific principle behind it. But also the spiritual practices, this is our sacrament, this is our honor to the ancestors. When we have sick, we build a fire and we burn a fire. When we have somebody who travels on and joins the ancestors, we build a fire in their honor. This is part of the reason why. So today we're honoring ancestors, known and unknown, loved ones, family members, all of our relations, known and unknown, who perished. We're going to honor their spirits. We're going to burn sage. We're going to come out of the mosque. We're going to travel around in a circle. We're going to come up Geneva Ave. We're going to go up the other side, up onto Elm Hill, and we're going to come back down. That's, as I said, a beginning. But all right. So is everybody ready?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing. Following the commercial break.
As we walk, I want you to consider the four directions. All that's above you, all that's below you, all that's in front of you, and all that's behind you. Because if it's next to you, it's part of you, because that's where the circle resides. Contemplate the four directions, and let's bring peace to the spirits of our ancestors.
What happened to my lighter?
Welcome back to the auction.
They already announced it. Okay.
You'll find out. If you check the history book as to who owned this property before it was Grove Hall and why it was named Grove Hall, one of the things that they'll reference about him was the fact that he was an auctioneer. They don't explain what he auctioned. This was his property. This is where his land ended, and this is from where he made many of his sales. Estate sales was one of the things, and many of the estates were human cargo. Ashe to the ancestors in this particular space. Ashe to the ancestors in this place. Peace to the ancestors. We'll continue. Thank you. One of the ironic properties of sweetgrass, it grows anywhere it likes.
My lawn doesn't fall down. The spirit is still there.
Come on, come on. The fire.
I know.
the 80s. Special prayer for the evil that happened here, the recent evil that happened here. Especially needed. It happened in our lifetime. We walk past it all the time. We heard about what happened. Some of us know about what happened. Special prayer for the spirits. Release the spirits that were here and desecrated. The recent spirits that were here and desecrated. The young people who never made it to the ages of the men that you can and women that you can see standing with us right now. Peace and blessings. Is it just me or does the air feel a little better? In honor of one of the elders who's joined the ancestors, Brother Blue. Part of his storytelling. Taking the silence, taking the circle. This is beautiful. This is exactly what the voices told me I'd see. Brother Jay Nightwolf speaks of the human family. Look around this circle. That's exactly what he's talking about. Creator, thank you for bringing us together.
Thank you.
Thank you for setting us on the beginning of our path to correct the energies in our community, to correct the energies in our family, in our house, our neighbors, bringing it all together. The words of the minister, town by town, neighborhood by neighborhood, block by block, house by house. It's time to release those energies. It's time to embrace the new ones. Thank you, for Creator, for giving us that insight. Peace and blessings.
Thank you, Wally, for everything that you've putting this together and being the ambassador for this walk. I see a lot of happy faces, smiling faces, people who wouldn't have gotten together had this not been put together. Glad to be a part of it. Glad to share with all of you and hear some of your stories. I feel blessed that I'm on the right path, that I was invited here to participate as my new career has involved me in a similar field where, the exact field actually, where I'm monitoring and making sure there's respect paid to our fallen ancestors, that I'm able to preserve a lot of the history that may have been negatively affected by construction, by all types of development. And I'm called upon to do that, and I'm able to make a career out of it, and I feel wonderful, and this is just the next step. Being here was a part of my new venture in life. And thank you very much. I'm blessed. We're all blessed.
his brainchild, just came out. I believe the ancestors spoke through him when we were gathered together before 10/10/15, when we had our first conference here at Muhammad's Mosque number 11 for the unity of the black and the red. And while he was speaking, he just came out with, we should have a cleansing of Grove Hall. And that's why we're here today. And so I appreciate the brother, and I thank him for channeling that energy that has us all here today. As we was walking, there was so much rich history that the brother was sharing with us about this area. And we talked about how we should do a cleansing every season. And I think it'll be a great idea in the springtime to come back as the seasons change. And it'll be a great opportunity to invite the community that lives in this area, because I'm sure that the majority of those that live in Grove Hall are not familiar with the history and why we're doing what we're doing. And so I want to thank all of you for coming out and responding to the call and blessing us with your presence, blessing us with the sage and your energy. I want to also, say that we're here because of the initiative of 10/10/15. And that movement brought us all together to demand justice or else. And so the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan told us that 10/10/15 was not about a day or an event, but about a movement. And so this is the movement. We went to Washington, D.C. and had a beautiful day. How many of y'all went to Washington, D.C.? Give yourselves a hand. We had a very beautiful day in every respect. As Brother Waleem said, looking around at this audience and looking at the diversity of the human family, we saw this in Washington, D.C. We saw the black, the red, the brown, the yellow, and the white coming together in peace, in love, in unity, demanding justice. And as beautiful as an event as it was, as positive as it was, with us bringing our righteous indignation and our grievances, the disrespect that was shown to us all, that the media did not even have the decency to cover the story.
That's right.
Says that they don't care about us.
That's right.
And so we went to Washington, D.C. to make our case, to make the demand for justice, but there was an ultimatum, and that ultimatum was the or else. And so everyone kept asking, well, what is the or else? And the or else is that we take decisive action to back our demand. And so while we're gathered here as one of the initiatives that came out and really continuing the work of the unity of the black and the red, we want to also keep in mind the continued work that we have ahead of us to force the or else.
Come on. Right.
And so one of the first initiatives that we have is we're boycotting Black Friday, we're boycotting Cyber Monday, and any other days that they gimmick to get us to go into the stores and spend our money. We're boycotting Christmas, up with Jesus, down with Santa. Say it with me, up with Jesus, down with Santa. So we want to make them feel the pain. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said that we have to redistribute the pain that we feel from the injustices. And we can start with that all over the world.
All over the world.
People are waking up, and there are mass movements. And so we are here in the belly of the beast, and we have to stand up and demand our justice. But I thank God that we have guidance. We're not being asked to do nothing extreme or radical. Just keep your money in your pocket. Keep your money in your pocket. So I'm going to say two initiatives that we got coming down the road. And one is that on Black Friday, we will be having a bank committee, the LOC of Boston, on Black Friday, instead of going to the mall, we're going to be right here in Grove Hall at One United Bank, the only black bank in Boston, and we're asking everyone to come out and open up a bank account, a savings account. So we're going to gather over here at
9 a.m.
9 a.m. All right, it's going to be an all-day event for those that can't be here now. But we will. The local organizing committee is organizing it, but we want to do it in a way. We don't want you coming in dribs and drabs. We want to make a statement.
That's right.
That instead of flooding the mall, we're flooding the bank, and we're keeping our money to ourselves. We're going to open up savings accounts. And we want them to see that we're not throwing our money away. We're boycotting this season. We're keeping our money in. We also are moving forward with the initiative to develop the 10,000 fearless men and women that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is calling for. This is not a game. We are not playing. This is not, we're not just talking. We are forming and building and developing a movement and a nation and independence. But we have to clean up our communities. And so on December the 7th, we will be having the first all-men's meeting where we're calling for the fearless men so that we can start our work. And so, sisters, stay tuned because the minister wants 10,000 fearless women as well.
Come on.
And so that's coming down the pike as well. But these are the initiatives that we are working on. Also, on Black Friday and Saturday, there will be a Black Business Bazaar that will be taking place here at Muhammad's Mosque number 11. So, part of the boycott, we want to also support black businesses. So if anyone has a business, black-owned business, and of course, Red or any of those of us in this coalition that would like to sell your wares, we will have a bazaar so that we can now support our own as opposed to, as Brother Minister Norby said, spend your money with your brother before you spend it with any other. And so that will be on Black Friday and on Saturday. So with that said, again, I'm just appreciative of all of you. Thank you for coming. I want to thank again Emwaleen for the leadership. Absolutely. For the leadership and guiding us here and leading us and sharing the knowledge and the wisdom that he did with us. And with that, I'm done and I'm going to pass it back over to our Brother Emwaleen. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Just also, I wanted to share greetings that were sent by text from Jay Winter-Nigel. He was actually intending to join us. He's having health issues right now. Please prayers for the brother. He was not able to come up from Washington, D.C. for this event. However, along in the conversation as we talk about the Orels, one of the topics on the table with the National Congress and the Congress. One of the situations with the National Congress of Black American Indians, one of the topics that especially I've been asked to spearhead here in New England, when we talk about Orels and we talk about withdrawal, let us also talk about sovereignty.
Yes.
Let us talk about self-determination.
Yes.
All of which are possible without federal recognition, as everybody likes to think. All of which are possible without enrollment in a federally recognized or even state recognized community. These are the things that they don't want us to know about. They don't want us to know our identity. They don't want us to know the power of this identity. We call ourselves the National Congress of Black American Indians, but understand our membership reaches from the tip of South America to the tip of Newfoundland. We have membership throughout the Western Hemisphere. When we say national, we're actually saying international. We're recognizing all 700 200 plus nations that originally occupied the Western Hemisphere pre-contact. Understand that there has always been peaceful trade and exchange with the Moors. There has actually always been peaceful exchange with the Vikings. This is why we didn't get nervous when they showed up in the other boats. Because the Vikings would come, they would trade, and they knew when to go home. But the or else has to be us looking at ourselves as the keepers of this land, the keepers of this earth. This is our responsibility. Some of it begins and is just scratching the surface with what we're doing right here. But one of the ongoing conversations, and I'm very happy to say that we are in partnership with the Nation of Islam in this conversation, in this ongoing dialogue, and now it's time to enact the or else.
That's right.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
This concludes our march for now, but please stay tuned as spring comes, as different gatherings come. And also, please monitor, the National Congress is on Facebook, National Congress of Black American Indians. Please, if you're not already, become a member of that page, because we will start to have organizing meetings that will be taking place in Boston, down in the New Bedford area, out on the Cape. We're going to be moving these conversations around. We're going to be having fires. This is going to be a chance to re-embrace that part of yourself that you were told didn't exist.
Right. Right.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful afternoon and safe travels. Okay, please greet each other as we part the circle. Please greet each other. And again, I say, Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
And Natakwina Kuche.
Some of you guys.
Before everybody disperse,